GPT-3 is arguably the most powerful language model created at the time of making this video. GPT, or the Generative Pre-trained Transformer, is an autoregressive language model that uses deep learning to produce human-like text. So YouTube, welcome to Conversing with AI. In this video, you'll not just see me chat with GPT-3, but we'll also talk about its background, some of my observations, its pros and cons, and everything in between. GPT-3 was created by OpenAI, an AI lab in San Francisco. This model takes in over 175 billion with a B, parameters and is very complex. Now, as you could see, I'm chatting with it as if I would chat with a friend, asking it general, open-ended, and complex questions such as, what is life? In fact, it takes it a step further by checking to see if I'm pondering on questions like, why we get sick, and what's the purpose of life? The fact that it can comprehend this is mind-blowing. This is a very powerful start, because irrespective of what questions I ask and how much I twist around, it still is able to stick to that context and provide me a satisfactory response. But as you'll see, as I keep going further and generate the text, that's where it falls apart. That's where you'll start realizing the fact that it's not a human. It's a statistical program that's predicting what may come next and providing you the output. It's ANI, sure, but nowhere close to being an AGI. Its lack of long-term memory and interpretation keep it from getting there. The model doesn't learn from our interactions like we humans so naturally do, and its lack of reliable interpretation and output prediction can be attributed to the large chunks of data that it was trained on. In fact, this is not just my observation. There are many AI pundits and practitioners that believe that it's just another transformer and its greater power and better performance is attributed to the resources and the large scale of data that the model was trained on. At the end of the day, we have to realize that this is just a statistical computation that takes in an input, assigns a probability, and spits out a predicted value without understanding the context or the meaning of the words. Now, to prove my point, let's rewind a bit. Remember when I asked it the question, what is life? And I said its response was mind-blowing? Well, that was the second attempt. A fair warning in advance, the content that you're going to see now is actually not safe for work, and sensitive viewers, please skip ahead. Now, in all fairness, OpenAI does warn us that the response does contain some unsafe content. And that's exactly my point. With all the talks about AI taking over the world, replacing humans, that may happen in the future, but for now, we as humans need to use AI as a tool, be there to moderate, supervise it. At the end of the day, AI is a tool, a statistical tool at that. And all models are only as good as the data that it was trained on, and GPT-3 is no exception. In fact, I was reading a paper that demonstrated that GPT-3 and other large language models contain anti-Muslim bias. And this is not the models or the AI's fault at all, because the data was generated, tidied, transformed by us, humans. So personally, to close this video, I just think that the hype around impractical, huge models such as GPT-3 is just a lack of understanding about our current state of artificial intelligence or lack thereof. In fact, I honestly think that we have to rely more on human-centered design to identify specific solutions and risks that are associated with machine learning malpractices or misuses. If you've enjoyed this video, then feel free to like, share, and subscribe. There's always the dislike button too if you didn't like it. In the upcoming videos, we'll demystify AI and talk about some of the business applications and my experience having started 2 AI-based startups. Until the next video, take care, stay safe, and peace.